Well, it's a little bit of a different video from me here on this snowy Friday evening. I figured I would go through 15 or so bets that I like tomorrow. Obviously, we're in the full swing college basketball massive Saturday coming up tomorrow. So these are just 15 fun bets that I do like, beginning with a noon game, Ohio State at home, sitting -9 against Penn State. The Buckeyes really falling on hard times. How about losing to Michigan on MLK Day? Michigan right now, what are they, 7-11? Really bad team. Ohio State needs to get back on track. The narrative surrounding Chris Holtmann, not good in January. He's on the verge of getting fired, but Ohio State's just got too much talent. I think they win this game by double digits. They're decent value, -9. Even with the recent problems, they need this game. They were up on the road against Penn State in December by double digits. They ended up blowing that game and losing completely. But I think they win by more than 9. It is a little bit of a risk, though, because Ohio State has been so bad recently. Moving on to number 2, Syracuse -1.5 versus Miami. Noon game on a Saturday at the JMA Wireless Dome. You got to go in on Syracuse and basically a pick 'em. Miami, their attorney team, they struggle during conference play, it seems. This year's no different. I did see some different numbers, some different analytics favor Miami. But again, Syracuse at home. In a spot like this, I'm expecting a higher scoring game with the Cuse coming out on top there. Moving on to number 3, Cincinnati. It's a meat grinder in the Big 12, -4 versus Oklahoma. I just think Oklahoma's a fraud, and this is not good value on Cincinnati. If you just base off of how these teams have been playing this year, you would say Oklahoma +4 on the road. They're the better team. They're going to at least keep it close, and they might keep it close, but I think Cincinnati, great home court advantage. Every win is critical. Every time you're at home in the Big 12, you must win. Kind of feels like that for the Big 10 as well, but give me Cincinnati -4. I think Oklahoma is going to go on a massive losing streak. Personally, since he's been a surprise this year, they got off to a really good start. They need these home games in conference play. Moving on to number 4, Clemson. Struggling mightily recently. I'll take them -2 on the road at Florida State. You're getting good value right now on Clemson. They're a solid team. I know they've been struggling recently. Florida State not very good this year. Clemson is on the road. But to me, this is a game, if this was played a month ago, Clemson would be -7 or -8. I understand they've been playing worse recently. Don't fall for it. Double down on Clemson here, -2 on the road against a bad team. Clemson right now, they're falling seed lines, possibly going onto the bubble. They need this win. It's a very winnable game against an FSU team with not a great home environment there. Boise State +1 versus San Diego State. It's a mosh pit in the Mountain West Conference this year. They could get 5 or 6 teams in. We will see, but Boise State, very solid basketball team this year at home, +1. Raucous environment on a Saturday, basically a pick 'em. You got to go with the home team in this matchup. If you're picking San Diego State, you're not a seasoned veteran better with something like that. Moving on to number 6, Nebraska. Yes, this is a very strange Nebraska basketball team. They've had a few huge upsets, and they've lost a few games they shouldn't. They're kind of a weird team. They don't have a ton of talent, but they're better than they normally are. I will take them -3 versus a good, solid Northwestern team, but this is the Big 10. Home teams always have a huge advantage. Give me Nebraska at home on a Saturday to win that game. It's not like Northwestern is that crazy threatening, although Northwestern can go on the road. We've seen them play very well on the road and win some games, steal some games. I think Nebraska, they've lost some games recently. They put their foot down. They win with the crowd. I'll take them -3. How about a potential number 1 overall team going down tomorrow? Villanova +2. What a crazy game this is. UConn, the number 1 team in the country, kind of by default because last week everyone lost. I will take Villanova to win this game outright. It's a crazy season in college basketball. They always are, but it just feels like number 1 is going to go down tomorrow, and it's not like this is a crazy spread or anything. Villanova is at home sitting +2. All they need is a little bit of a momentum tomorrow, maybe an early lead, and I think they win this game in an upset. Number 8, Kentucky -11.5 versus Georgia. Now, Georgia, surprisingly, normally they have a terrible basketball program. This year, they're actually decent. They are actually decent. But Kentucky, crazy elite offense this year. They're scoring 90 points basically every game. They're at home. It's not like Georgia's anything special. They're sitting minus 11.5. I think Kentucky scores 90 at least, and if they do, 11.5 should not be a hard number to cover. They've got a very elite offense. Number 9, Creighton. What a letdown they've been, but I'm sticking with them. Kind of similar to the Clemson bet. Minus 2.5 on the road at Seton Hall. It's not a super easy game, but it's very winnable. Creighton, entering the season, top 10 team, really struggled. They need this win. Similar bet to Clemson, minus 2 on the road. Creighton and Clemson struggling recently. I think they bounce back, and I think they both win their games tomorrow. Number 10, Air Force plus the 9.5 versus New Mexico. You know, I saw someone pick New Mexico to go to the Final Four, which honestly isn't that crazy of a prediction considering what we had last year with Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic's a really strange team themselves, but I'll take Air Force at home plus the 9.5. I think they're able to keep this game close. Probably not win it, but you're at home. They should be able to cover that double-digit spread there. Wow, that is an interesting animation right there. That brings me back to 3rd grade when I thought that was so cool. Moving on to number 11, Louisville plus 16 at Wake Forest. Louisville basketball. People are wondering, are they back? No, they've actually been playing better. I mean, Louisville's terrible in general, but I do think they're able to cover a 16-point spread. That would be my number 11 bet there, even on the road. How about Texas minus the 1 versus Baylor? Heavyweight battle. Texas really underperformed this year, though. They had the whole horns down situation. I think that galvanizes them at home, and they're able to handle a solid Baylor team. This is tough Big 12 basketball. Give me Texas, the home team, in basically a pick 'em at home. Notice what I'm doing. In these games that are virtual pick'ems, I'm always going to pick the home team in most cases where it's like -1 or there's no line like it's even. I will normally always pick the home team in college basketball just because there's such a massive advantage. How about an over-under? Yes, Kansas at West Virginia. I'll take the under 146. It just seems like anytime West Virginia hosts games, they're always low scoring. I'm getting a lower scoring vibe. Maybe West Virginia stays in this one and loses like 69-64. Oh, yes. Very low scoring. It's a rock fight. West Virginia, they're not very good this year, but Kansas, they've had some games, some close games against bad teams. We'll see. Moving out to number 14, UCLA at Arizona. Give me the over in this one. I think Arizona scores 85 by themselves, and if that happens, UCLA, it's been a bad season for them. Certainly kind of a rebuild. We'll see what they can do in the transfer portal. They're a historic program. They're going to be in the Big Ten. They're going to get crushed in this game. Arizona at home. They're going to run them off the court. And if Arizona scores 90 plus, the over 43.5, which is not a very hard number, seems like an obvious bet. I mean, just take a look at the value I'm getting with the under with the West Virginia game, 146 versus the Arizona game. There's going to be so much more scoring in the Arizona game. You can just feel it. And that's why I'm betting it like that. And then how about this monstrosity? North Texas at Charlotte. These teams are actually pretty good. The over 118. I saw this over under and I was like, I have to throw it in here. What a crazy low number that is. Please, somebody get into the 60s and you'll get a nice little over there. But either way, this was just kind of a fun video I threw together here last minute. Talking about some bets. Big college basketball Saturday tomorrow. That's going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.